They dragged her through the Pentagon in chains like she was already dead. Major Elena Rodriguez, 5'3", 118 pounds soaking wet, stood before the most powerful military tribunal in the free world, accused of selling secrets that got 12 American soldiers killed. Admiral Marcus Stone, the legend who'd survived 3 tours in Fallujah, pointed at her with the kind of rage that ends careers. But Elena, she didn't flinch. She smiled. And that smile, that's what should have scared them. Before we dive into how one woman brought the Pentagon to its knees, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment with your city. I want to see how far this story travels. Trust me, you're going to want to stay until the end. This isn't just a story, it's a reckoning. The handcuffs were too tight. Elena Rodriguez felt the metal bite into her wrists as the MPs shoved her through the door. She didn't complain, didn't ask them to loosen the cuffs, just walked. The tribunal waited. 14 stars. 4 admirals, 3 generals, the Secretary of Defense, all of them staring at her like she'd already confessed. Admiral Marcus Stone stood at the head of the table, 3 purple hearts pinned to his chest, 2 bronze stars, a Navy cross with a story so classified even God didn't know all of it. He slammed his hand on the table before she could sit. Major Rodriguez, do you understand the charges against you? Elena met his eyes. I understand what you think happened, sir. What I think? Stone's voice could have shattered glass. 12 of my men are in body bags because someone gave Al-Shayef our mission parameters. The leak came from your terminal, your credentials, your access codes. So you tell me, Major, what should I think? You should think about doing an investigation before you decide I'm guilty. Stone laughed, cold, bitter. Investigation. We found the proof on your laptop. Encrypted chats with a contact called Merchant. Ring any bells because Merchant is Al-Shayef's alias. The same terrorist who knew exactly where to plant those IEDs. The same terrorist who killed my men. Elena didn't blink. Did you read the chats, Admiral, or just the contact name? We read every word. Then you know they're about supply chain corruption, equipment that disappeared from forward operating bases, ammunition that never arrived. I was tracking procurement fraud, not selling secrets. Stone leaned across the table, close enough that she could smell the coffee on his breath. That's your defense. You were investigating fraud. Where's your case file, Major? Inspector General's office. Case number IG 2024-11847. Opened 7 months ago. Cross-referenced with DCAA audit findings from Camp Dwyer and Bagram. A younger officer, Captain Miguel Torres, shifted in his seat. Admiral, if there's an open IG case, we can verify. There's no case. Stone cut him off. Just a traitor trying to cover her tracks. Elena turned to Torres. Captain, pull the case number. It's in the system. Torres looked at Stone. Stone's jaw tightened. Do it, the Secretary of Defense said. His voice carried weight that even Stone couldn't ignore. Captain Torres, verify that case number, right now. Torres grabbed his tablet, started typing. The room went silent. Elena counted heartbeats. 14, 15, 16. Case number checks out, Torres said slowly. IG 2024-11847. Opened by Major Rodriguez on August 3, 2024. Subject, procurement fraud, forward operating bases, Afghanistan theater. Every head turned to Stone. Stone didn't move. So she filed a case. That doesn't prove innocence. That proves she's smart enough to build a cover story. Or, Elena said quietly, it proves I was doing my job, and someone didn't like what I found. Who? Stone's voice dropped. Dangerous. Who's your phantom enemy, Major? Someone with access to this building. Someone who knew which files would hurt us most. Someone who could hack my terminal and make it look like I did it. That's convenient. What's convenient, Admiral, is that you called this tribunal at 0500 this morning, before anyone could run forensics, before anyone could check my story, before anyone could ask why you were in such a hurry to convict me. Stone's hand curled into a fist. I was in a hurry, because traitors don't deserve due process. Neither do innocent people, apparently. The secretary stood. Both of you stop. Colonel Mitchell. He gestured to a woman in an Air Force uniform, silver-rimmed glasses, laptop already open. Run a full forensic analysis on Major Rodriguez's terminal. I want access logs, timestamps, everything. And Major Rodriguez, you said you reported the breach. Yes, sir, at 0404 hours on March 14th, 17 minutes after I discovered unauthorized access. Who'd you report to? Elena's eyes drifted to a thin man 3 chairs down from Stone. Colonel Hendricks. Hendricks sat up like he'd been shocked. I never received any report. You didn't? Elena's voice stayed calm. Surgical. That's strange. Because I have the confirmation receipt. The system logged it, sent it directly to your terminal. There was no report, Hendricks insisted. His voice climbed an octave. I would have seen it. I would have... Colonel Mitchell, Elena said. Can you pull my report from the system timestamp 0404 March 14th sent to Colonel Hendricks? Mitchell's fingers flew across her keyboard. Pulling it now. 30 seconds of silence. Mitchell looked up. Her face had gone pale. Report confirmed. Sent at 0404 hours. Marked urgent. Delivered to Colonel Hendricks' terminal at 0405. That's impossible, Hendricks said. I didn't see any. Your terminal opened it, Mitchell said. Her voice had gone clinical. Cold. At 0411 hours. Someone read it, Colonel. Someone with your access codes. Hendricks stood so fast his chair fell over. I wasn't even in the building at 0411. I was home. My wife can confirm. I didn't open any report. Your terminal did, Mitchell said. Not you, but someone using your credentials. The secretary turned to Elena. Major Rodriguez walked me through what happened that night. Elena took a breath. I was night watch officer for CENTCOM intelligence briefings. Standard duty rotation. At 0330, I accessed mission parameters for the Al-Shayef operation. That's my job, reviewing classified briefings before they go to field commanders. And then, at 0347, I noticed something wrong. Someone else was accessing the same files, same mission parameters, but from a different terminal. I immediately flagged it and started tracing the access point. Stone crossed his arms. How convenient that you noticed a breach on files you were already accessing. Elena ignored him, kept her eyes on the secretary. I traced the access to a terminal in Building 7, Section C. Administrative offices. No reason for anyone there to be pulling classified mission data at 3 in the morning, so I filed an urgent report to Cyber Command through Colonel Hendricks. And then nothing, no response. No investigation, no follow-up. 3 days later, 12 soldiers walked into an ambush. 2 days after that, investigators showed up at my door with evidence that I'd leaked the intel. Torres spoke up. Sir, if Major Rodriguez filed a breach report before the mission went south, that changes everything. That means she flagged the problem before it was a problem. Stone's voice cut like a blade. Or before she needed an alibi. Elena finally looked at Stone, really looked at him. Admiral, why are you so determined to make me guilty? Because you are guilty. Well, am I, or am I just the easiest target? What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm a junior officer with no political protection. It means if I go down for this, the investigation stops. Case closed. Everyone goes home. Stone's face went dark. You're suggesting I'm framing you to cover something up. I'm suggesting someone is. And I'm suggesting you're trying very hard to make sure no one looks too closely at the evidence. The secretary held up a hand. Major Rodriguez, that's a serious accusation. It's a serious situation, sir. 12 soldiers are dead. Someone leaked that intel. But it wasn't me. And if you convict me without doing actual forensics, you'll never find out who really did it. Mitchell closed her laptop. Sir, I need at least 6 hours to run a complete analysis. But preliminary findings support Major Rodriguez's timeline. The breach on her terminal does show characteristics of remote access, and her report to Colonel Hendricks is legitimate. 6 hours, Stone said flatly. We don't have 6 hours. Every minute that traitor... He pointed at Elena. "Sits in this room is a minute our enemies are celebrating." "Then give me 6 hours in custody," Elena said. "Lock me in a cell, but let Colonel Mitchell do her job. Let her find the truth." The secretary studied her face. "Why should I believe you?" "Because I requested this tribunal." The room went dead silent. Torres blinked. "What?" Elena's voice stayed steady. "I could have run. The moment I knew they suspected me, I could have disappeared. I have training. I have contacts. Instead, I reported to base headquarters at 0600 and formally requested a tribunal to clear my name. Or to get ahead of the investigation," Stone said. "Control the narrative before we could build a solid case." "If I wanted to control the narrative, Admiral, I wouldn't be standing here in handcuffs asking you to dig deeper. I'd be on a beach in Brazil with a new face and $1 million in crypto." The secretary sat back down. "Colonel Mitchell, you have 6 hours. Captain Torres, you're with her. I want every access log, every keystroke, every digital fingerprint from Major Rodriguez's terminal and Colonel Hendrix's terminal. And someone find out who was in Building 7 Section C on March 14th at 0347. "Sir," Stone said, his voice tight, "this is a waste of time. We have the evidence. We have the chat logs. We have questions, Admiral. Major Rodriguez has raised enough doubt that I'm not comfortable proceeding without answers." Stone's jaw worked. "You're making a mistake, Mr. Secretary." "Maybe, but it's mine to make." Elena felt something shift in the room. Not victory, not yet, but possibility. Torres approached with a key. "Major Rodriguez, you'll be remanded to secure holding while we conduct the investigation." "Understood, Captain." As Torres unlocked her handcuffs, Stone leaned close. His voice dropped to a whisper only she could hear. "You're clever, I'll give you that. But clever doesn't save you. It just delays the inevitable." Elena rubbed her wrists, looked him in the eye. "We'll see, Admiral." The MPs escorted her out. She heard Stone's voice behind her. "Mr. Secretary, I must protest in the strongest possible." The door closed. The holding cell was clean, concrete floor, metal bench, a single fluorescent light that hummed like a dying wasp. Elena sat on the bench and waited. Her father had taught her patience. Master Sergeant Carlos Rodriguez, 23 years Army, 3 tours Iraq, 2 Afghanistan. He'd come home with shrapnel in his leg and nightmares that never stopped. He'd taught her to shoot when she was 7, taught her tactics when she was 12, taught her that war wasn't about who was strongest, it was about who was smartest. "Fear makes people stupid, mija," he'd said once. "They panic, they rush, they make mistakes. You stay calm, you think, you wait for them to hang themselves." Elena closed her eyes, counted to 60, opened them. 3 hours passed. The door opened. Colonel Mitchell walked in. No MPs, just her holding a tablet, her face unreadable. "Major Rodriguez," Elena stood. "Colonel." Mitchell set the tablet on the bench. "I need you to walk me through something." "I'm listening." "Your report to Colonel Hendrix, the one flagging the breach. You said you sent it at 0404. "That's correct." "But you discovered the breach at 0347. That's 17 minutes. What took you so long?" Elena didn't hesitate. "I wanted to be sure. A false alarm on something like this could trigger a security lockdown that costs millions and pisses off every commander in CENTCOM. So I spent 17 minutes confirming what I was seeing was real." "How'd you confirm it?" "I checked the access logs, verified the terminal location, ran a trace on the credentials being used. Once I was certain it wasn't a clerical error or authorized access, I filed the report." Mitchell studied her face. "You're very precise." "It's my job to be precise. Your job is intelligence analysis, not cyber forensics. My job is whatever keeps American soldiers alive." Mitchell picked up the tablet. "I pulled the full access logs from your terminal, every keystroke from the past 6 months." Elena's pulse kicked up, just slightly. And you're either telling the truth or you're the most sophisticated operator I've ever seen." "I'm telling the truth." "Then we have a problem." Mitchell turned the tablet so Elena could see. "Because whoever hacked your terminal knew exactly what they were doing. They used a zero-day exploit that shouldn't exist. They spoofed your credentials so perfectly that our system logged it as you. And they did it in a way that left almost no trace. Almost. Mitchell zoomed in on a section of code. There's a 3-microsecond delay in the authentication handshake. Too small for our automated systems to catch, but it's there. It's a signature of someone who knows our security protocols intimately. Elena leaned closer. Someone inside the Pentagon. Someone with access to classified security architecture. Someone who could study our systems long enough to build an exploit that bypasses every safeguard we have. That's a very short list of people. 23 people to be exact. All of them with TS/SCI clearance. All of them with cyber warfare training. Mitchell paused. Including you. I didn't do this. I know. Elena blinked. You do. Your keystroke pattern doesn't match. Every person types differently. Speed rhythm, common mistakes. Your pattern is consistent across 6 months of logs, but the pattern during the breach is different. Subtle, but different. Whoever used your credentials wasn't you. Elena felt something unclench in her chest. Can you prove it? In court. Maybe. To the secretary, absolutely. Mitchell pulled up another screen. But here's what worries me. The person who did this, they made one mistake. What mistake? They assumed we'd only look at your terminal. They didn't realize I'd cross-reference every terminal in the Pentagon that night. Elena's mind raced. You found another anomaly. I found 3. 3 terminals accessed classified files they shouldn't have. 3 terminals with the same 3-microsecond authentication delay. 3 terminals that were all online during your breach window. Whose terminals? Mitchell hesitated. That's the problem, Major. One of them belongs to Colonel Hendricks, the man who never received my report. Yes, one belongs to a civilian contractor in Building 7 who was supposedly off-site that night. And one, she stopped. One what? One belongs to Admiral Stone's executive aide, a lieutenant commander named David Reeves. Elena's blood went cold. Stone's aide, who has unrestricted access to Stone's office, Stone's files, and Stone's daily schedule. Have you told the secretary? Not yet, because there's something else. Mitchell's voice dropped. I pulled Stone's personal access logs. The Admiral himself accessed classified mission files at 0315 on March 14th, 32 minutes before your terminal was breached. The pieces started falling into place. Elena spoke slowly, carefully. He accessed the mission parameters. Then someone, maybe his aide, used those parameters to create the leak from my terminal. Then Stone led the mission that walked into an ambush. Then Stone led the investigation that blamed me. That's one interpretation. What's another? Mitchell met her eyes. That Admiral Marcus Stone orchestrated the entire thing. The leak, the ambush, the frame job, all of it. Why? That's what I can't figure out. Stone's a hero. 3 tours, 40 years of service. Why would he sabotage his own operation and kill his own men? Elena remembered the IG case, the supply chain corruption, the equipment that disappeared. Because I was getting close to something, she said quietly. Something he couldn't let me find. What? I don't know yet. But my investigation was tracing procurement fraud through shell companies in Dubai and Cyprus. Money moving through channels it shouldn't. Equipment ending up in the wrong hands. Mitchell's face changed. You think Stone's involved in arms trafficking? I think someone very powerful is, and I think they needed me silenced before I could prove it. That's... Mitchell shook her head. That's insane. Stone's a Navy SEAL. A legend. He wouldn't... The lights went out. Not the holding cell. Somewhere else. But they heard it, alarms screaming through the building, footsteps pounding in the corridor outside. Mitchell grabbed her tablet. The screen glowed in the darkness. What's happening? Elena asked. Mitchell's face went white. Active breach. Someone's hitting the classified network right now. Same signature. Yes. Mitchell's voice shook. Same 3-microsecond delay, same exploit. Whoever framed you is doing it again. Elena moved to the door. Let me out. I can't. Colonel, if I'm the traitor, I'm already in custody. I can't be running this attack. But if I'm not the traitor, then the real hacker is in the Pentagon right now, and they're using this chaos to cover their tracks. Mitchell hesitated for exactly 2 seconds. Then she opened the door. You run and I'll hunt you down myself. I'm not running, Elena said. I'm hunting them. They sprinted down the corridor. Emergency lights cast everything in red. Alarms screamed. Torres rounded the corner, weapon drawn. He saw Elena and froze. She's with me, Mitchell barked. Where's the breach originating? Torres lowered his weapon. 3rd floor, Section C. Same building as the first breach. Elena and Mitchell exchanged looks. That's not a coincidence, Elena said. They ran. Up 3 flights of stairs. Through security doors that Torres unlocked with his badge. Into Section C, where administrative staff stood in the hallway looking confused and scared. Mitchell pulled up her tablet. The signal's strong here. We're close. Which office? Elena asked. Mitchell stopped outside a door. Read the nameplate. Sir James Hendricks, Deputy Director, Cyber Operations. Torres kicked the door open. The office was empty, but a laptop sat on the desk screen, glowing code scrolling past too fast to read. Mitchell rushed to it. This is it. This is the machine running the breach. Elena scanned the room. Coffee cup still warm. Papers scattered. A jacket on the chair. He was just here, she said. He ran when the alarm started. Torres was already on his radio. All units lock down Building 7. Suspect is Colonel James Hendricks. Repeat, Colonel Hendricks. Armed and dangerous. Mitchell's hands flew over the laptop keyboard. I can stop the breach, but I need time to trace where the data's going. How much time? 5 minutes. Elena checked her watch. Thought about Hendricks. Thought about Stone. Thought about the pieces that still didn't fit. Colonel, she said slowly. When you analyzed Stone's access logs, did you check his personal devices? Mitchell didn't look up. His terminal, yes, but Stone carries a classified briefcase, military-grade secure tablet inside. I'd need physical access to check it. Where is he right now? Torres checked his radio. Still in the tribunal room with the secretary. Elena's mind raced. The breach started when? 3 minutes ago. And where was Stone 3 minutes ago? Mitchell's hand stopped moving. In the tribunal room. With his briefcase. They looked at each other. He's not using Hendricks' laptop, Elena said. He's using his own device. He planted the laptop here to throw us off. Torres shook his head. That's Admiral Stone, wouldn't... Where's Lieutenant Commander Reeves? Elena cut him off. Stone's aide, the one whose terminal showed the same exploit signature. Torres checked his tablet. Reeves called in sick this morning, hasn't been seen since... He stopped. His face went gray. Since 0500, right before your tribunal started. Elena grabbed Torres by the shoulders. Miguel, listen to me. Stone orchestrated this. He leaked the intel that killed those 12 soldiers. He framed me. And right now he's using this breach as a distraction while he what? While he erases the evidence. Mitchell looked up from the laptop. Oh God, he's not stealing data. He's deleting it. Elena ran. Down the corridor. Down the stairs. Torres and Mitchell right behind her. The tribunal room door was locked. Torres used his badge. It beeped red. I don't have access. Elena stepped back, kicked the door. Once, twice. The lock shattered. They burst into the room. The secretary sat alone at the table looking confused. What's the meaning of... Where's Stone? Elena shouted. He left 2 minutes ago. Said he needed to... Elena was already moving. Back into the hallway, following the only path that made sense. Stone would need privacy. He'd need somewhere no one would interrupt him. She ran to the secure briefing room at the end of the corridor, the one reserved for classified video conferences. The door was ajar. She pushed it open. Admiral Marcus Stone stood in the center of the room, his briefcase open on the table, a tablet in his hands, lines of code scrolling across the screen. He looked up, saw Elena, didn't even look surprised. "Major Rodriguez," he said calmly, "I underestimated you." Elena stepped inside. "Close the briefcase, Admiral." "I don't think so." Torres and Mitchell appeared in the doorway behind her. Torres's hand went to his weapon. "Sir," Torres said, his voice shaking, "step away from the briefcase." Stone smiled. "Miguel, you were always too loyal for your own good." "I'm loyal to my country, sir, not to traitors." "Traitor." Stone's laugh was cold. "Is that what you think I am? After 40 years of service, after bleeding for this nation in 6 different war zones?" "You killed 12 soldiers," Elena said quietly. "You leaked intel to Al-Shayef. You framed me, and right now you're deleting evidence that proves it." Stone set the tablet down. "You don't understand what you're meddling in, Major. This is bigger than you, bigger than those 12 soldiers, bigger than your righteous indignation." "Then explain it." "Explain." Stone walked around the table slowly. "You want me to explain 40 years of watching politicians tie our hands, 40 years of fighting enemies with both arms behind our back, 40 years of watching good men die because some bureaucrat in Washington decided we couldn't do what needed to be done?" "So you did it yourself," Elena said. "You sold weapons to terrorists. You used supply chain corruption to funnel equipment to our enemies. You became the thing you swore to fight." "I became practical," Stone snapped. "Al-Shayef. He's one warlord in a country full of them. Give him enough weapons, he keeps the others in check. He stabilizes the region. He gives us actionable intelligence. It's called realpolitik, Major. Something they clearly didn't teach you at West Point." "They taught me honor." "Honor?" Stone's voice rose. "Honor doesn't win wars. Honor doesn't keep America safe. Honor is a luxury for people who've never had to make the hard calls." Elena took another step forward. "And the 12 soldiers who died. What were they?" Stone's face went cold. "Acceptable losses. They were walking into a trap anyway. Al-Shayef's people had compromised that entire valley. I leaked intel that adjusted their route. It was supposed to minimize casualties. It didn't work out as planned. You sacrificed them. I made a strategic decision. You murdered them. I saved hundreds more." Stone slammed his fist on the table. "That operation, if it had gone as planned, would have triggered a tribal war that would have killed thousands. I prevented that. But you and your righteous investigation were about to expose the entire network. Years of carefully cultivated assets, dozens of operations, all because you couldn't see the bigger picture." Elena felt something cold settle in her chest. "So you framed me. You forced my hand. The moment I realized you'd traced the supply chain back to Cyprus, I knew you were close. Too close. So yes, I framed you. I used your terminal to leak just enough intel to justify an operation. I made sure the evidence pointed to you, and I called this tribunal to bury you before anyone could ask questions." Torres's weapon came up. "Admiral Marcus Stone, you're under arrest for—" Stone moved fast. One hand went to his waistband, pulled a compact pistol, aimed it at Elena's head. "Nobody moves," Stone said. His voice was calm, professional. The voice of a man who'd held weapons in combat zones for 40 years. "Miguel, lower your weapon." Torres didn't move. "Sir, don't make this worse." "Worse than treason charges, worse than life in prison." Stone's laugh was bitter. "There's no worse for me, Captain. There's only how many people I take with me." Elena raised her hands slowly. "Admiral, you can still walk out of this. Call it a mental break. PTSD, the stress of command. You'll get treatment instead of execution." "Treatment?" Stone's gun didn't waver. "They'll dissect everything I've done, every operation, every asset. They'll burn my network to the ground and undo a decade of work. I can't let that happen. You can't stop it." "No." Stone's finger tightened on the trigger. "But I can make sure you don't live to see it." Everything slowed down. Elena saw Torres's hand moving, saw Mitchell's face frozen in horror, saw Stone's finger completing its squeeze, and she moved. Not away. Toward. She ducked left as the gun fired. The bullet passed so close she felt the heat. Her shoulder hit Stone's chest. His gun hand went wide. Torres fired. The bullet caught Stone in the right shoulder. The Admiral staggered back, dropping his pistol. Elena swept his legs. Stone hit the ground hard. Torres was on him, and a second weapon pressed to Stone's head, cuffing him with movements that looked like they hurt. Stone laughed. Blood ran from the corner of his mouth. "You think this changes anything," he said. "You think I'm the only one? This network goes all the way to the top major. People you'd never suspect. People you trust." "Then we'll find them too," Elena said. "Will you?" Stone's eyes locked on hers. "Or will they find you first?" Mitchell secured the briefcase. "I've got the evidence. Every deletion he tried to make I can recover." The secretary appeared in the doorway with 4 MPs. "Admiral Stone," he said quietly, "I never thought I'd see this day." "No one ever does," Stone said. "That's how we survive." They dragged him out. Elena stood in the empty room, heart still pounding, hands shaking with adrenaline she couldn't release. Torres holstered his weapon. "Major Rodriguez, I'm sorry. I should have seen it sooner. I should have questioned." "You did your job, Captain. That's all any of us can do." Mitchell approached with the briefcase. "There's enough evidence here to dismantle his entire network. Names, bank accounts, operational details. It'll take months to unpack, but it's over," Elena finished. Mitchell studied her face. "Is it Stone said the network goes higher? What if he's telling the truth?" Elena thought about the shell companies, the Cyprus accounts, the money that moved through channels that required approvals from people with more stars than Stone. "Then we keep hunting," she said. Torres straightened. "Major Rodriguez, the secretary, wants to see you. He's waiting in the tribunal room." Elena walked back down the corridor. Emergency lights still painted everything red. Alarms had stopped, but her ears still rang. The secretary stood when she entered. "Major Rodriguez, on behalf of the United States government, I owe you an apology." "You don't owe me anything, sir. Just do the job. Find everyone else involved." "We will." He paused. "Your IG investigation, the one Stone tried to bury. I want you to reopen it. Full authority, full resources, whatever you need." "With respect, sir, I'm just an intelligence analyst." The secretary smiled. "No, Major, you're not. You're whatever we need you to be." He pulled a folder from his briefcase, set it on the table. "This is your real personnel file, the classified one." Elena opened it. "Major Elena Rodriguez Intelligence Support Activity Call Sign. Black Widow Specialty, Deep Cover Counterintelligence." She looked up. "What is this?" "The truth, Major. You've been ISA for 3 years. You weren't investigating supply corruption. You were hunting a mole, and you just caught him." Elena's hands went numb. "This whole thing, the tribunal, the charges, was a trap. We suspected Stone for months, but we couldn't prove anything. He was too careful, so we needed bait. Someone smart enough to draw him out. Someone he'd underestimate. You used me. We used Black Widow. And she performed exactly as briefed." Elena sank into a chair. "The 12 soldiers, alive. All of them. They're ISA operators running Stone's network from Syria. The ambush was staged. The deaths were cover." The room tilted. Everything she'd felt, the guilt, the rage, the desperation to clear her name, it was all real. But the foundation was a lie. "Did I know?" she asked quietly. "Did I know this was all theater?" The secretary sat across from her. "You knew the mission, Major. Hunt the mole. But you didn't know we'd frame you as the mole to flush him out. We needed your reactions to be genuine. We needed Stone to believe he'd won." Elena closed the folder. "And now you've got a choice. Go back to regular army, take a promotion, take a desk, or..." He pulled another folder from his briefcase. "Take another mission." She opened it. "Operation Nightfall Moscow, duration indefinite, survival. Probability 34%. We've identified Stone's handler," the secretary said. "Someone in Russian intelligence who's been running him for 6 years. We need someone on the inside. someone they'd never see coming. Elena looked at the file, at the mission parameters, at the probability that said she had a 1 in 3 chance of coming home. She thought about her father, about his nightmares, about the price of service. "When do I leave?" she asked. 72 hours. But Major Elena, no one would blame you if you walked away. You've done enough. She stood, handed back the file. "I've done what was necessary, sir, not what was enough." The secretary shook her head. "Black Widow, the call sign fits." Elena smiled. "I didn't pick it. My training officer did, after I spent 8 hours in a crawl space waiting for a target to walk into my trap. He said I had the patience of a spider, and the bite to match. When I need to, sir." She walked to the door, stopped. "The handcuffs," she said. "This morning, they were too tight." "I know," the secretary said. "That was Torres's idea. He thought if they hurt your anger would be more convincing." "Tell him he was right." Elena stepped into the corridor. The emergency lights had shut off. Normal fluorescence hummed overhead. Everything looked the same as it had 12 hours ago. But nothing was the same. She was Black Widow. She'd always been Black Widow. And somewhere in Moscow, someone was waiting to meet her. Someone who didn't know the spider was already spinning her web. 72 hours wasn't enough time to become someone else, but Elena had done it in less. She sat in the briefing room at 0600 the next morning. Same room where Stone had tried to kill her. Someone had cleaned the blood off the floor, but she could still see the stain if she looked hard enough. Colonel Mitchell walked in first. No coffee, no small talk, just a tablet and the kind of exhaustion that comes from pulling an all-nighter hunting ghosts in digital code. "We cracked Stone's network," Mitchell said. 47 operatives, 12 countries, 8 years of operations. And you were right, it goes higher. Elena's stomach tightened. How much higher? 2 senators, 1 undersecretary of defense, and Mitchell hesitated. 1 deputy director at CIA. Names, need to know only. But the deputy director is your problem now. He's the one running the Moscow end of things. Stone was just middle management. Torres entered next. He'd changed uniforms. Looked like he'd slept even less than Mitchell. "Major Rodriguez," he said formally, then stopped. "Or should I call you something else now?" "Elena's fine, Miguel." He set a secure phone on the table. "Your new lifeline, encrypted, satellite uplink, self-destructs if anyone but you tries to use it. Don't lose it." "What happens if I do?" "Then you're alone in Moscow with no extraction plan and a life expectancy measured in hours." Comforting. It's not supposed to be comforting. It's supposed to keep you alive. The secretary entered last. He carried a thin manila folder and the weight of someone who'd just ordered a soldier into a meat grinder. "Major Rodriguez, how are you feeling?" Elena almost laughed. "Like I just found out my entire life for the past 3 years was a lie, sir." "Not a lie, a mission." Semantics. The secretary sat. "Fair enough. Let's talk about Moscow. The CIA Deputy Director Codename Architect has been running a network of compromised U.S. military personnel for at least 6 years. Stone was one of them. We've identified 4 others, but we believe there are more. What's Architect's motivation? Money. Ideology. He's a true believer. Thinks the Cold War never ended, thinks Russia and America should be allies against China. So he's been feeding them intelligence to strengthen the partnership. That's treason with extra steps. That's Washington, Major. Everyone thinks their version of treason is patriotism." The secretary opened the folder. "Architect doesn't know we've flipped Stone's network. As far as he knows, you're a disgraced intelligence officer who just got scapegoated by the Pentagon. You're angry, vulnerable, perfect recruitment material." Elena scanned the documents. "You want me to approach him? We want you to let him approach you. We've already planted the story. Major Elena Rodriguez, brilliant analyst destroyed by the system, quietly retired with a general discharge. Word is you're bitter. Word is you're looking for a way to make the people who hurt you pay. And Architect will believe that. He'll want to believe it. That's how recruiters work. They find your wound and they press on it until you do what they want. Mitchell pulled up a photo on her tablet. This is Architect. Real name classified, but his Moscow cover is cultural attaché at the embassy. He travels between DC and Moscow every 6 weeks. He's due back in Russia in 4 days. The man in the photo looked unremarkable. Mid-50s, thinning hair, the kind of face you'd forget 10 seconds after seeing it. Perfect for a spy. How do I make contact? You don't. He'll make contact with you. We're leaking information that you're in Moscow for personal reasons. Visiting your grandmother's homeland. Staying at a hotel in Arbat district. Architect's people will find you within 48 hours. Torres leaned forward. Once they make contact, you play the role. Angry. Disillusioned. Looking for purpose. They'll offer you money first. Turn it down. Make them work for it. What are they really after? Information on how we caught Stone. They need to know if their network is compromised. You tell them Stone made mistakes, got sloppy. They'll believe it because they want to believe they're smarter than he was. Elena studied the photo, memorized the face. And then you get recruited. You feed them intelligence, carefully crafted misinformation that we've prepared. You work your way up the network. And when you're close enough to Architect, you find out who else he's running stateside. How long will this take? The secretary's face hardened. However long it takes. Months. Maybe years. You'll be alone. No handler check-ins. No emergency extractions unless your life is in immediate danger. You'll live as Elena Rodriguez, retired and bitter, until Architect trusts you enough to bring you into the real operation. And if he doesn't trust me, then you'll have wasted months in Moscow drinking vodka and pretending to be sad. Or they'll kill me. Yes, that's also a possibility. Elena closed the folder, looked at each of them. Mitchell's exhaustion, Torres's guilt, the secretary's resignation. You picked me for this 3 years ago, she said quietly. Before the IG investigation, before Stone, you've been grooming me for Moscow this whole time. The secretary didn't deny it. We needed someone Stone would underestimate. Someone young, female, someone who could play victim convincingly because I've had practice. Elena's voice went flat. Growing up brown in a white army, growing up small in a world built for men. You picked me because people have been underestimating me my whole life. Yes. The honesty was almost refreshing. And my father, Elena asked, Master Sergeant Carlos Rodriguez, did you pick me because of him too? The secretary hesitated. Your father was a good soldier. That's not an answer. Your father knew people, had contacts in places we needed contacts. When he died, those contacts became yours. You thought you could exploit his legacy to turn his daughter into a spy. We thought we could give his daughter a chance to serve at the highest level. Elena wanted to be angry, wanted to feel used, but mostly she just felt tired. When do I leave? She asked. Tomorrow, 1800 hours. Military transport to Ramstein, then civilian flight to Moscow. You'll have one carry-on bag, no weapons, no classified materials, nothing that links you to ISA. Torres pushed the phone across the table. Memorize the emergency protocol. 3 missed calls to this number within 10 minutes means you're blown and need immediate extraction. What if I can't make 3 calls? Then we'll read about your death in Russian newspapers and pretend we don't know who you were. Mitchell handed her a micro SD card. Your legend. Everything Elena Rodriguez has been doing for the past 3 years. Bank statements, social media posts, photos. Learn it. Live it. Because one mistake and Architect will know you're a plant. Elena pocketed the card. Anything else? The secretary stood. Yes. This mission is voluntary. You can walk away right now. Take your discharge. Go live a normal life. No one would blame you. You would. Maybe. But you'd be alive. Elena thought about the 12 soldiers who weren't really dead. Thought about Stone's network still operating. Thought about her father who'd spent his whole life serving and died thinking it mattered. "I'll take the mission," she said. "Why?" "Because someone has to." The secretary nodded slowly. "Then God help you, Major. Because we can't." They left her alone in the briefing room. Elena sat in the silence and let herself feel everything she'd been holding back. The fear, the doubt, the bone-deep exhaustion of knowing that tomorrow she'd walk into a foreign country with no backup and no safety net. Her phone buzzed. Personal phone, not the secure one. A text from a number she didn't recognize. "Be careful in Moscow. They're better at this game than you think. S. Stone." Somehow still sending messages from whatever black site they'd buried him in. Elena deleted the text, turned off the phone. Tomorrow she'd be someone else. Someone broken and angry and looking for revenge. But tonight, for a few more hours, she could still be herself. She walked out of the Pentagon at sunset. The sky burned orange and red over the Potomac. Tourists took photos of the building where just yesterday she'd been handcuffed and accused of treason. None of them knew. None of them would ever know. That was the price of being Black Widow. You saved the world in silence, and the world never said thank you. Elena drove to Arlington, found her father's grave in Section 60. Fresh flowers sat at the headstone, someone else from his unit probably. They never forgot. She knelt in the grass. "Hey, Dad," she said quietly. "I'm going away for a while. Classified stuff. You'd understand." The stone didn't answer. "I know you'd tell me to be smart. Stay low. Don't be a hero. But I think..." Her voice caught. "I think maybe being a hero isn't about the medals. It's about doing the hard thing when no one's watching." The wind picked up, carried the scent of rain. "I'm scared," she admitted. "I'm really scared. But I'm going anyway. Because that's what you taught me. That's what it means to serve." She stood, brushed dirt off her knees. "I'll see you when I see you, Dad. Keep a spot warm." She walked back to her car, didn't look back. Looking back made it harder. 24 hours later, Elena Rodriguez boarded a civilian Aeroflot flight at Dulles International. Jeans, sweater, backpack with 2 changes of clothes, and a paperback novel. Just another American tourist visiting Russia. She found her seat, middle row, economy. Nothing about her screamed intelligence operative. The man next to her was reading a Russian newspaper. He glanced at her, smiled politely, went back to his reading. Elena pulled out her book. Didn't actually read it, just stared at the pages and ran through her legend for the 100th time. Elena Rodriguez, 29, born in El Paso, raised on Army bases, father deceased, mother remarried and living in Florida, no siblings, graduated West Point, 5 years military intelligence, recently discharged officially for failure to maintain security protocols, unofficially for getting scapegoated, angry, bitter, looking for purpose. The plane took off. Elena watched America disappear beneath the clouds. 11 hours later, they landed in Moscow. Sheremetyevo Airport was gray concrete and suspicious faces. Elena went through customs with her tourist visa. The officer studied her passport for 30 seconds longer than necessary. "Purpose of visit?" he asked in accented English. "Tourism. My grandmother was Russian. I wanted to see where she came from." "How long staying?" 2 weeks. Maybe longer if I like it." He stamped her passport, handed it back without expression. Elena collected her bag and walked into the arrival hall. The air smelled like cigarettes and disinfectant. A driver held a sign with her name on it. Hotel transfer, prepaid through her Legends credit card. The drive into the city took 40 minutes. Moscow sprawled gray and vast under a November sky that looked like it had forgotten what blue was. Soviet apartment blocks gave way to sleeker buildings, then to the historic center where the hotel waited. The Arbat district. Cobblestone streets. Tourist shops selling Matryoshka dolls and Soviet memorabilia. Her hotel was small, clean, anonymous. Elena checked in. The receptionist spoke careful English and asked if she needed restaurant recommendations. "Maybe tomorrow," Elena said. "Tonight, I just want to sleep." She rode the elevator to the 4th floor, found her room, double-locked the door, swept for bugs with the detector hidden in her phone case, found 2, one in the smoke detector, one behind the headboard. She left them active. Removing them would signal she knew what to look for. Instead, she unpacked slowly, took a shower, ordered room service borscht and black bread, ate in silence while Russian television played news she couldn't understand. Then she slept, or tried to. But every sound in the hallway made her pulse spike. Every footstep outside her door could be FSB coming to arrest her. At 0300, she gave up, sat by the window and watched Moscow sleep. Somewhere in the city, Architect was waiting, watching, deciding if she was worth recruiting. And somewhere back in Virginia, Mitchell and Torres were monitoring signals intelligence, looking for proof that Elena had made contact. But right now, in this moment, Elena was completely alone. She thought about Stone's text. "They're better at this game than you think." Maybe they were. Maybe she'd be dead in a week. But she'd be dead trying, and that had to count for something. Morning came cold and gray. Elena dressed in layers and walked the Arbot. Bought coffee from a street vendor who barely looked at her, sat on a bench and watched people hurry past. A woman in a fur coat walking a tiny dog, an old man feeding pigeons, 2 teenagers kissing against a building wall. Normal life, the kind Elena might have had if she'd chosen differently. Her phone buzzed. Text message, "Welcome to Moscow, the Pushkin Cafe, 4 p.m. Sit by the window." A friend. Elena's heart kicked into overdrive. Contact. First contact. Less than 24 hours. She deleted the text. Finished her coffee. Spent the next 6 hours walking, learning the streets, memorizing exits and shortcuts and places where someone could disappear. At 3:45 p.m., she found the Pushkin Cafe. Upscale, dim lighting, tourists mixed with locals. She ordered tea, sat by the window as instructed, opened her book, waited. 4:00 p.m. No one approached. 4:15. Still nothing. 4:30. A man in an expensive coat entered, gray hair, glasses. He scanned the room, saw Elena didn't react. He ordered at the counter, collected his coffee, walked past her table, stopped. "Excuse me," he said in perfect English. "You're reading Tolstoy. In English. Are you American?" Elena looked up. "Yes, is that a problem?" "Not at all. I'm just surprised. Most Americans in Moscow read thrillers, not Russian classics." "I'm not most Americans." He smiled. "No, I don't think you are." He gestured to the empty chair. "May I?" Elena shrugged. "It's your country." He sat, extended his hand. "Dmitry Volkov. I work at the American Embassy. Cultural liaison." Elena shook his hand. "Elena Rodriguez." "And what brings you to Moscow, Elena Rodriguez?" "Family history. My grandmother was from here." "Ah, a pilgrimage to the motherland. How is it treating you so far?" "It's cold." "It's November. It will get colder." He sipped his coffee. "May I ask what you do back in America?" "I was in the Army, intelligence analyst." "Was?" Elena's jaw tightened. "Perfect. Natural." "I don't want to talk about it." Dmitry Architect nodded sympathetically. "Bad ending." "Something like that." "I understand. Sometimes our employers don't appreciate the work we do. Sometimes they betray us when we're most loyal." Elena met his eyes. "Yeah, something like that." They sat in silence for a moment. "I have a proposal," Dmitry said. "If you're going to be in Moscow for a while, perhaps I could show you the real city, not the tourist version, the places locals actually go." "Why would you do that?" "Because you look like someone who could use a friend, and because," he smiled, "I think we might have more in common than you realize." Elena pretended to consider. "I don't know you." "No, but you could. Dinner tomorrow. There's a Georgian restaurant in Kamovniki, best khachapuri in Moscow." "I'll think about it." "Please do." He stood, placed a business card on the table. My number. Call if you'd like to talk. About Moscow, about family history, about... He paused. About anything at all. He left. Elena waited 5 minutes, pocketed the card, paid for her tea, walked back to her hotel. Her hands didn't shake until she locked her door. Then she sat on the bed and let the adrenaline crash. First contact. Successful. Architect had taken the bait. She pulled out the secure phone. 3 bars of signal. She could call Torres right now, tell him it was working, but the room was bugged, and the walls had ears. So instead, she opened her book and read Tolstoy until her eyes hurt. All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Elena wondered which kind of family she was building in Moscow, the kind that lived or the kind that died trying. Outside her window, the city lit up, 1,000,000 lights in the darkness, and somewhere among them, Architect was writing his report, deciding if Elena Rodriguez was worth the investment. She hoped she'd played it right, not too eager, not too resistant, just broken enough to be tempting. Her phone buzzed, personal phone not secure. Another text from Dmitry, "You'll call tomorrow." They always do. D. Elena didn't respond. She turned off the lights, lay in bed, stared at the ceiling. In 72 hours, she'd gone from prisoner to operative, from victim to hunter. And now the real mission began. Stone had been right about one thing. They were better at this game than she'd thought. But Elena had spent her whole life being underestimated, and underestimation, she'd learned, was the most useful weapon of all. Tomorrow she'd call Dmitry. Tomorrow she'd take another step into the web. Tomorrow she'd become the person Architect needed her to be. But tonight, for a few more hours, she could still remember who she really was. Black Widow, patient, careful, deadly, waiting in the dark for the right moment to strike. Elena called at noon the next day, let the phone ring 4 times before Dmitry answered. "Elena, I was hoping you'd call." "You said dinner. I'm hungry." He laughed. "Direct. I like that. 7 o'clock, I'll send a car. I'll take the metro." "You don't trust me." "I don't trust anyone. Give me the address." He did. Elena wrote it down on hotel stationery, then tore the paper into pieces and flushed them, memorized the address instead. She spent the afternoon walking. Not aimlessly, she traced routes from her hotel to the restaurant, counted exits, noted security cameras, found 3 different paths she could take if she needed to run. At 6:30, she changed into the nicest clothes she'd packed. Black jeans, gray sweater. Nothing fancy, but clean. The kind of outfit that said she was trying without trying too hard. The metro swallowed her into its belly. Soviet-era stations that looked like palaces built for no one. Chandeliers and marble and people who wouldn't meet your eyes. She got off at Kamovniki, found the restaurant tucked between a pharmacy and a closed bookstore. Dmitry waited at a corner table. He stood when she entered. "You came." "I said I would." In my experience, people say many things. Following through is rarer. Elena sat. "What makes you think I'll follow through on anything else?" "Instinct. And the fact that you're here despite every reason not to trust me." A waiter appeared, spoke rapid Russian. Dmitry ordered for both of them without asking. Elena raised an eyebrow. "Presumptuous. I know what's good here. You can order your own next time if I'm wrong." "Who says there'll be a next time?" "I do." The confidence should have been annoying. Instead, it was oddly calming. Like Dmitry had already decided how this would go, and Elena's job was just to show up. The food came fast. Khachapuri cheese bread that stretched when you pulled it. Khinkali dumplings filled with meat and broth. Wine that tasted like it had been aged in someone's basement. Dmitry ate like someone who'd learned table manners but forgotten why they mattered. Elena matched his pace. "Tell me about your grandmother," he said between bites. "She left Moscow in 1991, married an American soldier, never looked back." "Did she miss it, Russia?" "She missed the idea of it, but the reality, I think she was glad to escape." "And you?" Do you want to escape something? Elena set down her fork. Why are you really here, Dmitry? I told you. Cultural liaison. Cultural liaisons don't buy dinner for random American tourists. They don't track them to cafes and offer friendship within 24 hours of arrival. Dmitry smiled. You're more observant than you let on. I'm a lot of things people don't expect, including a former Army intelligence analyst who got quietly discharged 3 months ago for reasons your service record won't specify. Elena's blood went cold. You ran a background check on me. I run checks on everyone. It's habit. He poured more wine. Your file is interesting. Outstanding performance reviews, multiple commendations. Then suddenly you're out with a general discharge and a notation about security protocol violations. That's code for something else, something they don't want to explain. Maybe I screwed up. Maybe. Or maybe you were convenient. Someone needed a scapegoat and you were junior enough not to fight back. Elena's jaw tightened. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? I've worked in government for 20 years, Elena. I know how it works. Someone important makes a mistake and someone expendable takes the fall. It's the same in every country, every system. So what? You feel sorry for me? No, I see an opportunity. There it was. The hook. Elena leaned back. Opportunity for what? To do something that matters. To use your skills for people who will actually appreciate them. And who would that be? Dmitry swirled his wine. Let's say I know people who value intelligence. Real intelligence, not the sanitized reports that make politicians comfortable. People who understand that sometimes loyalty to your country means working outside official channels. That sounds like treason. That sounds like realism. Your country threw you away. Why do you owe them anything? Elena let the question hang, counted to 5 in her head, let her face show conflict. I don't know, she said quietly. I spent my whole life serving. Even now, even after everything, a part of me still wants to believe it meant something. It did mean something. It taught you skills that could be worth a lot of money to the right people. I'm not a mercenary. No, you're better than that. You're an idealist who got betrayed. That makes you honest. And honesty is the rarest commodity in our business. Elena stood. I should go. Elena, wait. No, this was a mistake. I don't know what you think I am, but I'm not interested in whatever you're selling. She walked toward the door, fast. Not running, but close. Dmitry caught up at the entrance. I apologize. I moved too fast. Please, just finish dinner. No more business talk. I promise. Elena looked at him. Let him see the fear and anger and confusion she'd been holding back. Why me? She asked. There are 1,000 burned-out soldiers in this city. Why track me down specifically? Because you're not just any soldier. You're someone who got close to something important. Important enough that powerful people needed you silenced. How do you know that? Because I read the classified version of your file, the one that mentions Admiral Marcus Stone. Elena's heart stopped. Dmitry's voice dropped. You were investigating him. Procurement fraud, supply chain corruption. You got close enough that he framed you for treason, but he didn't count on you being smart enough to expose him. Stone's in prison. Stone's a symptom. The disease is still spreading. Dmitry stepped closer. What if I told you that the network you uncovered goes deeper than Stone? What if I told you that there are people in Washington right now who know about Stone's operation and are doing nothing because they benefit from it? I'd say you're paranoid. I'd say you're in denial. Elena, you saw the truth, you touched it, and they tried to destroy you for it. Don't you want to finish what you started? Elena pulled away. I want to forget it ever happened. No, you don't. People like us don't forget. We don't forgive. We keep fighting even when everyone tells us to stop. People like us. People who've been betrayed by the system we swore to serve. People who know the difference between patriotism and blind obedience. Elena's hands shook. She shoved them in her pockets. I need time to think. Take all the time you need. But know this, the offer won't last forever. And neither will you. If Stone's network thinks you're a threat, they'll eliminate that threat. Prison bars won't stop them. Is that a threat? It's a warning. From someone who's been where you are, someone who made the choice you're facing now. Elena turned without another word, walked out into the Moscow night. The cold hit her like a fist. She walked fast, turned corners at random, checked for tails using every technique they'd taught her, saw no one. But that didn't mean no one was there. She took the metro back to her hotel, rode 3 extra stops, doubled back, switched trains twice. Standard counter-surveillance. Her room looked exactly as she'd left it. Clothes in the same position, bathroom door at the same angle. The dust she'd sprinkled on the carpet by the door undisturbed. But the bugs were still active, and walls still had ears. Elena opened her book, read 3 pages without comprehending a word. Her secure phone was in her bag. She could call Torres, tell him Architect had made his pitch. But something stopped her. Dmitry knew too much. Knew about Stone before Elena had mentioned him. Knew about the investigation, the frame job, the classified details that shouldn't exist outside isophiles, which meant either Architect had better intel than the secretary thought, or someone was feeding him information from inside. Elena's mind raced through possibilities. Mitchell had access to all the files. Torres knew the operation details. The secretary himself had briefed her. Any of them could be compromised. Any of them could be Architect's real source. Or maybe Dmitry was testing her, seeing if she'd break protocol and call home, seeing if Elena Rodriguez, bitter former analyst, would have access to secure communications. She closed her book, turned off the lights, lay in bed and made herself count backward from 1,000 in Russian. Odin, 1,000. Deviatsat, devianosto, deviat. Deviatsat, devianosto, vosim. She fell asleep somewhere around 700, woke to her phone buzzing at 3 a.m. Secure phone. Encrypted call. Elena answered without speaking. Black Widow. Torres's voice, tight with stress. We have a problem. I'm listening. Colonel Mitchell is dead. Car accident 2 hours ago. Brake line failure. Happened 3 blocks from her house. Elena sat up. Accident. That's what MPD is calling it. But brake lines don't fail on 2-year-old cars that just passed inspection. Who knew about the mission? Same people who knew before. Me, Mitchell, the secretary, and 2 analysts at NSA, who help with signal intercepts. Check them. All of them. Someone's feeding Architect real-time intel. Elena, we can't just... Someone killed Mitchell because she knew too much. Someone on our side is working for them. Figure out who before I'm next. She hung up, stared at the phone in her hand. Mitchell, who'd stayed up all night cracking Stone's network, who'd found the evidence that saved Elena's life. Dead. Elena felt something cold settle in her chest. Not fear. Anger. She got dressed. Checked the clock. 3:17 a.m. Too early for normal people. Perfect for insomniacs and spies. She went down to the hotel lobby. The night clerk barely looked up from his phone. Coffee. He gestured to a machine in the corner. Elena made herself a cup that tasted like despair and caffeine. Sat in a chair facing the entrance. Waited. At 4:05 a.m., a man entered. 40s. Leather jacket. He scanned the lobby, saw Elena kept walking to the elevator. At 4:23, a woman in workout clothes came through, earbuds in, didn't look at anyone. At 4:41, Dmitry walked in. He wasn't surprised to see her. That was the tell. Couldn't sleep, he asked. Someone I worked with died tonight. I'm sorry. Are you, or did you know it was going to happen? Dmitry sat across from her. What are you accusing me of, Elena? You knew things tonight. Things you shouldn't have known. Details about Stone's arrest that weren't in any public record. So either you're very well connected or someone's feeding you information in real time. I'm well connected. Not that well connected. Not unless someone inside my former chain of command is talking to you. Elena leaned forward. A woman named Sarah Mitchell, Colonel, Air Force, Cyber Operations. She's the one who cracked Stone's network, and tonight her brakes failed. Dmitry's expression didn't change. Accidents happen. Not to people who just uncovered the biggest treason case in 20 years. Not to people who had round-the-clock security and knew how to check for tampering. So what do you want from me? A confession? I want the truth. Are you architect? Are you the one running Stone's network from Moscow? Dmitry smiled. You're more direct than I anticipated. I'm tired of games. Colonel Mitchell is dead. 12 soldiers almost died because of Stone. How many more people have to get hurt before you tell me what's really happening? What's really happening, Dmitry said quietly, is that you're caught in a war you don't understand. Mitchell's death wasn't about Stone. It was a message to you. Elena's blood froze. What message? That you're not safe. That coming to Moscow, taking this mission, playing spy, it was all a mistake. They know who you are, Elena. They know why you're here, and they want you to understand that they can reach anyone, anywhere, anytime. Who's they? The people who really run things, not politicians, not generals. The people in the shadows who decide which wars get fought and which secrets stay buried. That's not an answer. It's the only answer you're getting tonight. Dmitry stood. You wanted truth. Here it is, you can't win this. You can't expose them. You can't bring them to justice. The best you can do is survive, and survival means making the right choices. Like working for you. Like understanding that loyalty is a luxury you can't afford anymore. Elena stood too. You're wrong. Loyalty is the only thing I can afford. It's the only thing they can't take from me. Then you'll die loyal and stupid. Is that what you want? Is that what your father would want? Don't talk about my father. Why not Master Sergeant Carlos Rodriguez? Good soldier, better man, died thinking his daughter would do something that mattered. Will you, or will you die in Moscow and get buried in an unmarked grave while Washington pretends you never existed? Elena's hand moved before she thought, slapped Dmitry hard enough that his head snapped sideways. The night clerk looked up. Dmitry waved him off. I deserve that, Dmitry said, rubbing his cheek. But it doesn't change the facts. You're alone here. No backup, no extraction, no one coming to save you. Mitchell's death proved that. So you have one choice: work with me and stay alive, or keep playing hero and die alone. I've been alone my whole life. I'll manage. Will you? Dmitry's voice softened. Elena, I'm not your enemy. I'm the only person in this city who's telling you the truth. Your own government sent you here as bait. They're using you to draw out Architect's network. And when they have what they need, they'll cut you loose. You know it's true. Elena wanted to deny it. Wanted to believe the Secretary Torres the mission. But Mitchell's death said otherwise. What do you want from me? She asked quietly. Information, names, details about how they caught Stone, who knew what and when. In exchange, I'll keep you alive. I'll make sure the people hunting you look somewhere else. And then we see if you're worth investing in long term. If you are, there's a place for you. Real work, real money, real purpose. Working for Russia. Working for yourself. Russia just signs the checks. Elena turned away. I need time. You don't have time. Mitchell died tonight. Tomorrow it could be Torres. Next week it could be you. Decide now, Elena. Save yourself or die pretending you still believe in a system that betrayed you. Elena walked to the elevator, pressed the button. The doors opened. She stepped inside, turned to face Dmitry. I'll give you an answer in 48 hours. Why 48 hours? Because that's when I'll know if you're lying. The doors closed. Elena rode to her floor. Her hands shook so hard she could barely unlock her door. Inside, she grabbed the secure phone. Dialed Torres. He answered on the first ring. Elena, thank God. We've been trying to reach you. Mitchell's death. Was it really an accident? Silence. Then, no. FBI found traces of acid on the brake line. Someone tampered with her car while she was at work. Inside the Pentagon. Yes. Then whoever killed her has building access, high-level clearance. They're one of us. We're sweeping everyone, full polygraphs, financial audits, but it'll take weeks. I don't have weeks. Dmitry knows about Mitchell. He knew about her death before I told him. Torres swore. He's getting real-time updates from someone stateside. Someone close. Someone in the operation. Elena paused. Miguel, I need you to do something. Don't tell anyone. Not the secretary. Not NSA. No one. What? Run a check on everyone who had access to my mission files. But don't use Pentagon systems. Use an outside contractor. Someone who can't be traced back to us. Elena, that's how we find the leak. Whoever killed Mitchell is watching our investigation. They'll see official queries, but they won't see a private contractor running background checks. Torres was quiet for a long moment. You think it's someone we trust? I think Mitchell trusted the wrong person, and I think that person killed her to keep her quiet. What about Dmitry? Is he architect? I don't know yet. He talks like architect, acts like architect, but something's off. He's too obvious, too eager to recruit me. Real intelligence officers are subtle. Dmitry's playing a role. Maybe that's his cover, acting too obvious so you'll think he's not the real thing. Maybe. Or maybe architects sent him to test me, see if I'll bite. So what's your play? Elena looked at her reflection in the dark window. I'm going to give him what he wants. Partial information about Stone. Enough to seem cooperative. But I'm going to change key details. If those details make it back to Washington, we'll know Dmitry's reporting to someone on our side. That's dangerous. Everything about this is dangerous. Elena checked her watch. I need you to do one more thing. Name it. Find out who was in the Pentagon parking garage when Mitchell's car was tampered with. Security footage. Badge swipes. Everything. Someone had access and access leaves traces. I'm on it. Elena hung up, sat in the dark, thought about Mitchell, about her silver-rimmed glasses and her tired eyes and the way she'd believed in evidence when everyone else believed in assumptions. Someone had killed her for that belief. Someone who was still walking free, still operating, still watching. Elena pulled out her personal phone, typed a message to Dmitry. 48 hours. Then we talk. His response came 30 seconds later. I'll be waiting. Don't disappoint me. Elena deleted both messages, lay down on the bed fully clothed, closed her eyes but didn't sleep, because somewhere in Moscow, Architect was planning his next move, and somewhere in Washington a traitor was covering their tracks, and somewhere in between Elena Rodriguez was the only person who saw both sides of the board. Black Widow. Patient. Careful. Deadly. But even spiders could get caught in their own webs. Elena just had to make sure she wasn't the one who ended up trapped. 48 hours felt like 48 years. Elena spent the first day walking Moscow until her feet bled. She visited tourist sites she didn't care about, ate food she couldn't taste, and smiled at strangers who looked through her like she was already dead. The secure phone stayed silent. Torres was either dead or smart enough not to call. At night, she dreamed of Mitchell. Not the colonel she'd worked with, but a version made of broken glass and accusation. In the dream, Mitchell's kept asking the same question over and over. Why did you let me die? Elena woke up sweating at 4 a.m. Again. The second day, Torres finally called. I found something. Elena pressed the phone to her ear. Talk. Security footage from the Pentagon parking garage. The night Mitchell's car was tampered with. Someone accessed the garage at 2:47 a.m. using an executive badge. Whose badge? That's the problem. The system shows the badge number, but when I cross-referenced it with personnel files, it came back classified, above my clearance level. Elena's stomach dropped. How many people have clearance that high? In the Pentagon, maybe 20. Deputy secretaries, joint chiefs, a few intelligence directors. The secretary, Torres hesitated. Yes. Anyone else we know? Admiral Chen, Admiral Sarah Chen, the woman who'd walked into the tribunal room after Stone's arrest, the woman who'd called Elena Black Widow and told her the mission had succeeded beyond expectation, Elena's handler. Pull Chen's schedule for the past 72 hours. Where she's been, who she's talked to, every meeting she's attended. Elena, she's your handler. If she's compromised, then I'm already dead and just don't know it yet. Pull the records, Miguel. Do it quietly. She hung up before he could argue, sat on the edge of the bed and forced herself to think. Chen had access to everything, every file, every operation, every agent in the field. If Chen was Architect's source, then every move Elena made was being reported in real time. Every call to Torres, every message, every plan. Dmitry would know it all, which meant either Chen was the traitor or someone was setting her up to look like the traitor. Elena grabbed her coat. She needed air, needed to move. She took the stairs down instead of the elevator, exited through the service entrance, walked 6 blocks before she was sure no one was following. Found a payphone near a metro station. They still existed in Moscow, relics of a time when surveillance required effort. She dialed the number Torres had given her for emergencies. Not his personal line, a secure drop that would route through 3 countries before reaching him. He answered with a code phrase. The weather in Berlin is clear. Moscow's colder. Listen carefully. I think my handler is compromised. Silence. Then, say again. Admiral Chen. She's either Architect's source or someone wants me to think she is. Either way, I can't trust the official channels anymore. Elena, without your handler, you have no extraction protocol. No backup. No way home. I know. Then what's the play? I meet with Dmitry tonight. Give him information about Stone. But I change 3 details. Small things that only someone with access to classified files would know. If those changes make it back to Washington through official channels, we know Chen's reading my reports and feeding them to Dmitry. And if she's not the leak, then someone else is, but this narrows the field. Torres breathed into the phone. This is insane. This whole operation is insane. Mitchell's dead, Chen might be dirty, and I'm in Moscow with a target on my back. Insane is all I've got left. What do you need from me? Stay off official channels. Use the private contractor to dig into Chen's background. Financials, travel records, everything. And Miguel trusts no one, not even the secretary. Understood. Elena hung up, walked back to her hotel through a different route. Found Dmitry sitting in the lobby reading a newspaper. He looked up. You're early. I got tired of waiting. Good. I hate waiting too. He folded the newspaper. Walk with me. They left the hotel. The afternoon was gray and cold. Moscow weather felt personal, like the city itself wanted you to suffer. Dmitry walked without speaking for 3 blocks. Finally stopped outside a small Orthodox church with gold onion domes. Do you believe in God, Elena? I believe in evidence. That's not an answer. It's the only answer that matters. Dmitry smiled. My mother believed in God, prayed every day, lit candles for her family, for Russia, for peace. He gestured to the church. Then the Soviet Union collapsed, and God did nothing. She died believing he'd abandoned her. Maybe he did. Or maybe he was never there to begin with. Maybe faith is just something we tell ourselves so we can sleep at night. Elena turned to face him. Is this a philosophy lesson or a recruitment pitch? It's context. You still believe in your country, in loyalty, in doing the right thing. But what if I told you those things are just stories? What if I told you the only thing that's real is power, and everything else is just noise to keep the powerless in line? I'd say you sound like every authoritarian who ever justified atrocity. Or every realist who survived when idealists died. Elena crossed her arms. You wanted information about Stone. I'm here to give it to you. Can we skip the existential crisis? Dmitry laughed. Direct as always. Fine. Tell me about Stone. How did they catch him? Elena had prepared for this. Rehearsed the lies until they felt like truth. Stone got sloppy. He used his personal device to access classified files instead of routing through proxy servers, left a digital trail that Mitchell traced back to his briefcase. and the briefcase. Custom hardware, military-grade intrusion kit. But the firmware had a signature 3-microsecond delay in authentication. Mitchell recognized it from a previous case. Once she knew what to look for, she found the pattern in 47 other terminals. Dmitry listened without interrupting. His face gave nothing away. And these 47 terminals, they belonged to Stone's network. Yes, officers and contractors across 6 bases, all of them accessing files they shouldn't have. All of them using the same exploit. Where's the evidence now? Classified, locked down at Fort Meade. NSA has it. They're still analyzing connections and building cases. And you... What was your role in all this? I was bait. They knew Stone would come after me if I got close to his operation, so they let me get close, then used my arrest to draw him out. You're saying your entire tribunal was theater? Every word, the handcuffs, the accusations, the evidence against me, all of it designed to make Stone think he'd won. Dmitry studied her face. That's a dangerous game. What if Stone had killed you before you could expose him? Then I'd be dead and they'd find another way. That's how operations work. No one's irreplaceable. Even Black Widow. Elena's blood froze. What did you call me? Dmitry's smile was sharp. Black Widow. Your ISA call sign. Did you think I didn't know? Did you think you could walk into Moscow and play tourist and I wouldn't recognize an operator when I saw one? Elena's hand went to her coat pocket. Empty. She'd left the secure phone in her room. Stupid. Sloppy. Fatal. If you know who I am, why play games? Why not just kill me? Because I don't want to kill you, I want to recruit you. Dmitry stepped closer. Your ISA, Intelligence Support Activity. The most secretive unit in the US military. You don't exist on paper. You don't follow conventional rules. You do things other units can't or won't do. So you're exactly the kind of person I need. Someone who understands that rules are for other people. Someone who's already comfortable operating in the shadows. I operate for my country. Your country sent you here to die, Elena. They used you as bait and didn't care if you got caught. Do you really want to keep serving people who see you as disposable? Elena forced herself to breathe, to think. Dmitry knowing about ISA changed everything. It meant his intelligence was better than they'd thought. It meant someone very high up was feeding him information. It meant Chen was dirty. Or it meant Dmitry was bluffing, using public information to make Elena think he knew more than he did. Black Widow isn't classified, Elena said carefully. Call signs leak, happen all the time. True, but your real assignment doesn't leak. The fact that you were sent here specifically to infiltrate my network. The fact that your handler is Admiral Sarah Chen. The fact that Torres is running unauthorized background checks on Pentagon personnel using a private contractor in Virginia Beach. Elena's world tilted. He knew about Torres, about the contractor, about details from a phone call she'd made 2 hours ago, which meant either her secure phone was compromised or the payphone had been tapped. Or you're in my hotel room right now, Elena said quietly. Listening through the bugs you planted, you heard me on the secure phone. No, the secure phone is actually secure. Impressive encryption. Dmitry's smile widened. But you called Torres from a payphone on Tverskaya Street. And that payphone, we've owned it for 6 years. Anyone who uses it gets recorded, archived, analyzed. Elena wanted to run, wanted to fight, wanted to do anything except stand there and accept that she'd walked into a trap that had been waiting for years. So what now? You kill me, ransom me back to Washington. Now I offer you a choice. The same choice I offered Stone 8 years ago. Work with us and live. Refuse and die. Stone chose to work with you. Look how that turned out. Stone got greedy, started skimming money, started making mistakes. You won't make those mistakes because you're smarter than he was. I'm not working for Russia. You don't have to. You'll work for yourself. Russia just provides the infrastructure, the protection, the resources you need to do what you do best. Which is hunt people. That's your specialty, isn't it? Finding people who don't want to be found, people who think they're untouchable. You did it to Stone. You can do it to others. Elena laughed, cold, bitter. You want me to hunt Americans for you. I want you to hunt criminals, terrorists, people who deserve to be found. The fact that some of them might be American is incidental. That's treason. That's justice. Your government protected Stone for years, protected dozens like him. They only moved against him when you forced their hand. How many more are there, Elena? How many more officers are selling secrets while Washington looks the other way? Elena thought about the shell companies, the Cyprus accounts, the 47 terminals Mitchell had found. You don't know that Washington's protecting them. Don't I? Stone's network operated for 8 years. 8 years of selling weapons to terrorists. 8 years of leaked intelligence and dead soldiers, and no one stopped him until you. Why do you think that is? Because he was good at hiding. Because he had protection. Someone at the top making sure investigations never went too far. Someone making sure the right files got lost and the right witnesses stayed quiet. Who? Dmitry shook his head. That's the question, isn't it? Who in Washington is dirty? Who's protecting the network? You want to find out. You're offering to help me investigate my own chain of command. I'm offering to give you resources, names, financial records, everything you need to expose the real traitors, the ones still walking free while you're in Moscow with a target on your back. Elena's mind raced. This was the pitch, the real recruitment. Dmitry wasn't asking her to betray America. He was asking her to believe that America had already betrayed itself. And the terrifying part was she almost believed him. Why would you help me expose American corruption? What's Russia's angle? Chaos. Every American official you expose, every scandal you uncover weakens your government's credibility, makes people doubt their leaders, doubt their institutions. That's worth more than any intelligence you could steal. So I'd be a useful idiot. You'd be a weapon, aimed at people who deserve it. Elena turned away, walked toward the church, stopped at the entrance. I need time. You don't have time. Torres is running out of safe options. Chen is closing in on the truth. And Washington is deciding whether you're more valuable alive or dead. Then I'm already dead. Not if you join us. Not if you let me protect you. Elena looked at the gold domes, thought about her mother's prayers, her father's sacrifice, all the years of service and loyalty and belief. If I say yes, she said quietly, what happens? You disappear. New identity, new life. You'll work for me, hunting targets I identify. Some will be Americans. Most won't be. And in exchange, I'll keep you alive and give you everything you need to expose the people who destroyed your career. And if I say no, then you walk out of this church, get on the next plane to Washington, and hope Chen doesn't have you killed before you land. Elena's hand went to the church door, cold metal under her palm. She thought about Mitchell, about Torres, about all the people who'd trusted the system and died for it. She thought about her father, what he would say, what he would do. Master Sergeant Carlos Rodriguez, 23 years of service, dead at 52 from exposure to burn pits the army said were safe. He'd believed in the system, and the system had killed him. Elena turned back to Dmitry. I want proof. Proof of what? Proof that Chen is dirty. Proof that Washington is protecting Stone's network. Give me something concrete, not just conspiracy theories and vague accusations. Dmitry pulled out his phone, scrolled, showed Elena a photograph. Admiral Sarah Chen, standing outside a cafe in Vienna, talking to a man Elena didn't recognize. This was taken 6 months ago. The man Chen is meeting. His name is Alexei Volkov. He's SVR, Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. And according to our records, they've met 17 times in the past 3 years. Elena stared at the photo. That doesn't prove anything. Chen could be running her own operation, using Volkov as a source. Could be. Except Volkov doesn't give information. He only receives it. He's a collector, not a source. And according to bank records, Dmitry swiped to another image. Chen received deposits totaling $3 million in the past 2 years, routed through the same shell companies Stone used. Elena's hands shook. How did you get these records? Does it matter? Yes. If you hacked American banks, this is fabricated evidence. If you got it from inside the banks, that means you have people embedded in our financial system. We have people everywhere, Elena. That's the point. The game is rigged. It's been rigged for years. You can either keep playing by rules that don't exist, or you can accept reality and work with us. Elena handed the phone back. I need to verify this independently. How? You can't trust Torres, can't trust Chen, can't trust anyone in Washington. So how exactly will you verify anything? I have my ways. Your ways will get you killed. Then I'll die trying. Better than living as a traitor. Dmitry pocketed his phone. You still think you're the hero in this story? That's admirable. Stupid, but admirable. What story do you think this is? The one where everyone's dirty and no one's clean. The one where loyalty is a weakness and trust gets you buried. You'll learn, eventually. Elena walked away from the church, didn't look back. Dmitry called after her. 72 hours, Elena. That's how long you have before Chen makes her move. Spend it wisely. Elena kept walking, back to her hotel, up to her room, locked the door and checked for new bugs. Found 3 more, one in the lamp, one behind the TV, one in the bathroom vent. She left them all active. Let Dmitry listen. Then she pulled out her secure phone and called Torres. I need you to do something. Don't ask questions, just do it. I'm listening. Pull financial records for Admiral Chen, every account, every transaction. Focus on the past 3 years. Look for deposits from shell companies, especially ones connected to Stone's network. Elena, I can't access an admiral's financial records without authorization. Then get authorization, or don't. But find out if Chen's been taking money from the same sources that paid Stone. Torres was quiet. You think Chen's architect? I think Dmitry just showed me evidence that she is. But the evidence could be fabricated, so I need independent confirmation. If I pull those records and she's clean, I'll be court-martialed. And if she's dirty and we don't pull them, we're both dead. Choose. Torres swore. I'll see what I can do. But Elena, if Chen is architect, then she knows we're investigating her. She'll know the moment I start looking at her financials. Then be fast. And Miguel, if anything happens to me, make sure the truth gets out. Promise me. Nothing's going to happen to you. Promise me. I promise. Elena hung up, sat on the bed, stared at the bugs hidden around her room. Dmitry was listening. Chen was listening. The whole world was listening. And Elena Rodriguez, Black Widow ISA operative, was trapped in a web she couldn't see all the threads of. But spiders were patient, and Elena had been patient her whole life. She pulled out her personal phone, typed a message to Dmitry. I want to see Volkov. Face to face. If he confirms what you told me, we talk. The response came in seconds. Tomorrow. 3 p.m. Gorky Park. Come alone. Elena deleted the messages, lay back on the bed, closed her eyes. Tomorrow she'd meet an SVR officer. Tomorrow she'd know if Chen was dirty. Tomorrow she'd decide which side of the line she was standing on. But tonight she was just Elena Rodriguez, alone in Moscow, scared, angry, and more determined than ever to finish what she'd started. Because Mitchell deserved justice. The 12 soldiers deserved truth. And her father deserved a daughter who didn't quit. Even when quitting was the smart thing to do. Even when survival meant compromise. Even when the cost of winning might be everything she'd ever believed in. Elena Rodriguez was Black Widow. And Black Widows didn't run from danger. They waited for it to come close enough. Then they struck. Gorky Park at 3 p.m. was full of people who had nothing to hide and everything to lose. Elena arrived 20 minutes early, walked the perimeter twice, memorized exits, sightlines, and the faces of anyone who looked too interested in their surroundings. Found a bench near the frozen fountain. Sat down. Waited. At 2:58, a man approached. Not Dmitry, someone older. Gray coat, gray hair, gray eyes that had seen too much and forgotten nothing. He sat without asking permission. Major Rodriguez, or should I call you Black Widow? You must be Volkov. Alexei Volkov. SVR, though I suspect you already knew that. His English was perfect. No accent. The kind of perfect that came from years of practice pretending to be American. Elena kept her hands visible. Dmitri said you could confirm Admiral Chen's involvement with Russian intelligence. Dmitri says many things. Some are even true. Is this one of them? Volkov pulled out a pack of cigarettes, offered one to Elena. She declined. He lit his own and took a long drag. Admiral Sarah Chen has been an asset of the Russian Federation for 4 years. She provides intelligence on U.S. military operations, personnel movements, and classified technology assessments. In exchange, we deposit money into accounts she believes we cannot trace. Why tell me this? Why expose your own source? Because Chen has outlived her usefulness. She's become careless, greedy. She demands more money for less valuable intelligence. And now, thanks to you, she's under investigation. Volkov smiled. We're cutting her loose, letting her take the fall, and you're going to be the one who brings her down. Elena's stomach turned. I'm not working for you. You already are. The moment you started investigating Chen, you became our asset. You just didn't know it yet. That's not how it works. That's exactly how it works. We gave Dmitri information to give to you. You'll verify that information independently. Find proof that Chen is dirty. Expose her. And in the process, you'll destroy American confidence in military intelligence leadership. That's worth more than anything Chen could provide. Elena stood. I'm not helping you destabilize my government. You're not helping us. You're helping yourself. You want the truth about who killed Mitchell. You want justice for the soldiers who died because of Stone's network. We're giving you the tools to get both. In exchange for what? Volkov stubbed out his cigarette. In exchange for staying alive. Chen knows you're investigating her. She's already authorized a sanction. You have 48 hours before a wet team finds you. A wet team. Assassins, contractors, very professional, very permanent. Chen can't risk you exposing her connection to Stone, so she's decided you're a liability that needs elimination. Elena's blood ran cold. How do you know this? Because we intercepted her communication to the contractors. Because we've been monitoring Chen's every move since you arrived in Moscow. Because we want you alive, Elena. Dead, you're useless. Alive, you're the weapon we need. I won't work for Russia. You won't be working for Russia. You'll be working for justice, for truth, for revenge. The fact that Russia benefits is incidental. Elena wanted to argue, wanted to walk away. But every instinct she'd developed over 3 years in ISA told her Volkov was telling the truth. Chen had ordered her killed, her own handler. The woman who'd called her Black Widow and told her the mission had succeeded. Prove it, Elena said. Prove Chen ordered the hit. Volkov pulled out a phone, played an audio file. Chen's voice, no mistaking it. Rodriguez has become a problem. She's asking questions about Vienna, about financial connections. We need to clean this up before she compromises the entire network. Authorization code is Delta 7 Tango. Make it look like an accident. The voice on the other end was professional, cold. Timeline. 72 hours maximum. She's in Moscow. Should be easy to stage as a robbery gone wrong. Understood. We'll handle it. The recording ended. Elena felt something break inside her chest. Not her heart. Something deeper. The last piece of faith she'd been holding on to. That recording could be fabricated. Could be. But your secure phone will confirm it. Check your protocols. See if Chen has activated a sanction authorization in the past 24 hours. Elena pulled out her secure phone. Accessed the encrypted database that tracked all ISA operations and authorizations. Found the entry. Authorization Delta 7 Tango subject. Rodriguez Elena status. Active sanction authorized by Admiral S. Chen. Timeline 72 hours. Elena's hands shook. The phone nearly slipped from her grip. She really did it. She signed my death warrant. Yes, and now you have a choice. Run and spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder, or work with us and take her down. If I work with you, I'm a traitor. If you don't work with us, you're a corpse. Choose. Elena stared at the authorization on her screen, thought about Mitchell, about Torres, about everyone who'd trusted the system and died for it. What do you want me to do? Volkov stood. Go back to Washington. Use the evidence Dmitry gave you. Expose Chen publicly. Force an investigation that can't be buried. And when it's over, when Chen is in prison and the network is dismantled, we'll talk about your future. My future? You're too valuable to waste, Elena. ISA trained you well. You're one of the best operators I've ever seen. But you're working for people who don't appreciate you. People who will sacrifice you the moment it's convenient. And Russia appreciates me. Russia pays its assets very well, and we don't throw them away. Volkov handed her a card. Think about it, but don't think too long. Those contractors Chen hired, they're already in Moscow. They'll find you within 48 hours. He walked away. Elena sat back down on the bench. The card in her hand had a phone number, nothing else. Her secure phone buzzed. Torres. Elena, we have a problem. Another one. I pulled Chen's financial records. You were right. $3 million over 3 years. Same shell companies as Stone. Same Cyprus accounts. But that's not the worst part. Elena's stomach dropped. What's the worst part? Chen just activated a sanction authorization. Against you. Code Delta 7 Tango. That's an assassination order. I know. Volkov just played me the recording. Silence. Then, Volkov. As in Alexei. Volkov, SVR. Yes, he confirmed everything. Chen's dirty. She's been working for Russia for 4 years, and now she wants me dead before I can expose her. Torres swore. Elena, you need to get out of Moscow. Now. I'll arrange extraction. Military transport from... No, if I run, Chen wins. She buries the evidence, continues operating, and the network keeps running. I can't let that happen. Then what's the play? Elena looked at the card in her hand, at the phone number that represented everything she'd sworn to fight against. I'm coming home, but not quietly. I'm going to expose Chen. Publicly. Force an investigation that's too big to bury. How? By doing exactly what Volkov wants me to do, by being the weapon he needs. Except I'll be aiming at everyone. Chen, Stone's network, and Russia's intelligence operation. All of it. That's suicide. That's justice. Miguel, I need you to do something. Pull every file on Chen, every operation she's run, every authorization she's signed. Build a case so airtight that even the secretary can't ignore it. And if he tries, then we go to the press. Leak it to journalists who will actually investigate. Make it so public that Washington has no choice but to prosecute. Torres was quiet for a long moment. You know this ends your career. My career ended the moment Chen signed that sanction order. Now I'm just deciding how many people I take down with me. Elena, do it, Miguel. Build the case and stay safe. If Chen's willing to kill me, she won't hesitate to kill you. She hung up, sat in the frozen park and made herself count to 100. Then she called Dmitry. I'm in. You've made the right choice. Don't patronize me. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this because Chen needs to go down and you're giving me the tools to make it happen. The motivation doesn't matter, only the results. Fine, what do you need from me? Nothing yet. Go back to Washington. Expose Chen. When it's over, we'll talk about your next assignment. I'm not taking assignments from you. Dmitry laughed. We'll see. People always say that. Then reality sets in. Then they realize they have nowhere else to go. I'll find somewhere. Will you? After you expose a Navy admiral for treason, after you admit you worked with Russian intelligence to do it, you think the US government will welcome you back with open arms? Elena didn't answer, because he was right. The moment she exposed Chen using Russian intelligence, she'd be burned. No career, no future, no home. I'll deal with that when it happens. Brave. Stupid, but brave. Dmitry paused. Elena, for what it's worth, I respect what you're doing. Not many people have the courage to burn their own house down. I'm not burning my house down. I'm cleaning out the rot. Same thing. Elena stood. I'm leaving Moscow tomorrow. Don't contact me unless it's urgent. Safe travels, Black Widow. And Elena, watch your back. Those contractors are very good at their job. He hung up. Elena walked out of Gorky Park, took 3 different metros, doubled back twice, made sure no one was following, got back to her hotel at sunset, found Torres standing in her room. Miguel, how did you... ISA protocols. I have access to your location data. He looked exhausted, terrified. Elena, you can't go back to Washington. Chen's people are waiting. The moment you land, you're dead. Then I'll die making sure everyone knows what she did. That's not heroism. That's suicide. Elena sat on the bed. Maybe, but it's my choice, and I'm choosing to finish this. Torres pulled out a folder. Then at least do it smart. This is everything I could find on Chen. Bank records, communications with Volkov, authorization codes for operations that shouldn't exist. It's enough to bury her. How'd you get this? Doesn't matter. What matters is, you get it to someone who can use it. Someone outside the military chain of command. Who? Senator Elizabeth Warren's office. Her aide is former JAG. She's been investigating military corruption for years. Give her this and she'll run with it. Elena took the folder. If I give this to a senator, Chen's people will know within hours. Then you'd better move fast. Miguel, if they catch me, they won't, because I'm coming with you. No, you've got a career, a future. Don't throw it away for me. Torres sat next to her. Mitchell's dead. You're burned. If I don't help you, who will? Besides, I didn't join the army to watch good people get sacrificed while traitors walk free. Elena wanted to argue, wanted to protect him, but she was too tired and too scared to do it alone. Okay, but if this goes wrong, you run. Promise me. I promise. They sat in silence for a moment. 2 soldiers who'd trusted the system and learned the hard way that the system didn't trust them back. When do we leave? Torres asked. First flight tomorrow morning, but we don't go through official channels. We buy tickets as civilians. Different flights, different routes. We meet in DC and hit Warren's office before Chen knows we're stateside. And if the contractors find us first, then we fight and hope we're better than they are. Torres stood. I should go. Dimitri's probably listening to everything we say. Let him listen. By the time he reports to Chen, we'll already be gone. Torres left. Elena packed her bag. Not everything, just what she'd need. The folder Torres gave her. The secure phone. 1 change of clothes. She looked around the room, at the bugs hidden in the walls, at the life she'd lived for the past week pretending to be someone she wasn't. You listening, Dimitri? She said to the empty room. I hope you heard all of that. I hope Chen hears it too, because tomorrow, everyone's going to know the truth. About her, about Stone, about all of you. Silence answered her. Elena turned off the lights, lay down fully dressed, set her phone alarm for 4 a.m. Didn't sleep, just stared at the ceiling and counted down the hours until she'd either save her country or die trying. At 3:47 a.m., someone knocked on her door. Elena rolled off the bed, grabbed the knife she'd hidden under the pillow, moved to the wall next to the door. Who is it? Where room service? I didn't order room service. Complimentary breakfast, miss, for all guests. Elena looked through the peephole, saw a man in hotel uniform, holding a tray, saw his other hand hidden behind his back, saw the wire in his ear. Contractor. Chen's contractor. Elena backed away from the door, grabbed her bag, went to the window. 4th floor, no fire escape. The knock came again, harder. Miss Rodriguez, are you there? Elena opened the window. Cold air hit her face. She looked down. 4 stories of empty air between her and the concrete. The door handle turned. They were picking the lock. Elena grabbed the bedsheet, tied one end to the radiator, tested it. The radiator held, threw the sheet out the window. It didn't reach the ground. Maybe dropped 3 stories. Better than nothing. The door opened. The man in the uniform entered, saw Elena at the window, reached for his gun. Elena jumped, grabbed the sheet, slid down. Her hands burned. The sheet tore. She fell, hit a dumpster, rolled, came up running. Behind her, the contractor was at the window, aiming. Elena zigzagged. A bullet sparked off the pavement beside her. She ran into the pre-dawn Moscow streets. No plan, no backup, just survival instinct and training. Found an alley, ducked into it, pressed against the wall, heard footsteps running past. Waited, counted to 60. Moved. She had to get to Torres, had to get to the airport, had to get to Washington before Chen's people found her again. Her phone buzzed. Torres. Elena, where are you? They found me. Chen's contractors. I'm on foot somewhere near the hotel. Christ. Okay, listen. Change of plans. I've got a car. Black sedan. Parked 2 blocks east of your hotel. Keys under the driver's side floor mat. Miguel, if they're tracking me. They're not tracking you. I disabled your location data, but you need to move. Now. Get to the car. Drive to Sheremetyevo. I'll meet you there. Elena ran. Found the car where Torres said. Keys under the mat. Started it. Pulled into traffic. Checked the mirrors. Saw headlights behind her. Following too close. Too deliberate. She accelerated. Ran a red light. The headlights followed. Definitely a tail. Elena took a hard right. Then a left. Then another right. The headlights stayed with her. She remembered her training. Evasive driving. Unpredictable patterns. Use the environment. She swerved into oncoming traffic. Horns blared. Cars scattered. The headlights followed. Elena spotted a delivery truck. Accelerated. Cut in front of it. The truck driver hit the brakes. Blocked the road behind her. The headlights stopped. Elena kept driving. 45 minutes to the airport. She could make it. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Chen's voice. Major Rodriguez, you're making this very difficult. That's the idea. You can't win this. I have resources you can't imagine. People everywhere. Even if you make it to Washington, you'll never reach Warren's office alive. Maybe, but I'll die trying, and everyone will know why. They'll know nothing. They'll think you were a traitor who got killed in Moscow. That's the story we'll tell. That's the story everyone will believe. Not if Torres gets the evidence to Warren first. Chen laughed. Captain Torres is already dead, Elena. We picked him up 20 minutes ago. Elena's blood froze. You're lying. Am I? Check your phone. Last known location for his device. Elena pulled up the tracking app. Saw Torres's phone signal. Stationary. Not at the airport. At an address she didn't recognize. You're lying, Elena said again, but her voice shook. I'm being efficient. Torres knew too much. Just like you. The difference is we caught him before he could run. If you hurt him, you'll what? You're alone in a foreign country with no backup and a kill team on your trail. You have no leverage, Elena. You have nothing. Elena's hands tightened on the wheel. I have the truth. The truth died with Mitchell. It'll die with Torres, and it'll die with you. The only question is how much pain you experience before the end. I'll see you in hell, Admiral. You'll see me in Washington, if you make it that far. Chen hung up. Elena drove faster. Her mind raced. Torres was captured. Maybe dead. The evidence was in her bag. Her only chance was getting it to Warren before Chen's people caught her. The airport appeared on the horizon. Elena parked, grabbed her bag, ran inside, found the first flight to anywhere that connected to Washington. Frankfurt, 3 hours. She bought a ticket with cash, went through security, half expected Chen's people to grab her at the checkpoint. They didn't. She boarded the plane, found her seat, waited for the doors to close. They did. The plane taxied, took off. Elena exhaled for the first time in hours. 3 hours to Frankfurt, then 6 more to Washington, then the final sprint to Warren's office. She pulled out the folder Torres had given her, memorized every page, every bank record, every authorization code. If they killed her, she'd at least die knowing the truth. The plane landed in Frankfurt. Elena cleared customs, found her connecting flight, boarded, took off. 6 hours of turbulence and terror. Landed at Dulles at 9 p.m. local time. Elena cleared customs. No one stopped her. No one even looked twice. She took a taxi to Capitol Hill, paid cash, got out 3 blocks from Warren's office, walked the rest of the way, checked every shadow, every car, every person who looked at her too long, found the building, went inside, took the elevator to the 3rd floor, found Warren's aide, a woman in her 40s, sharp eyes, military bearing. "I need to speak with Senator Warren. It's urgent." The senator doesn't take walk-in appointments. "If you'd like to schedule," Elena dropped the folder on the desk. "Tell her it's about military treason at the highest levels. Tell her Admiral Sarah Chen has been working for Russian intelligence for 4 years. Tell her Major Elena Rodriguez has proof. And tell her if she doesn't see me in the next 5 minutes, this evidence goes to every journalist in Washington." The aide looked at the folder, looked at Elena. "Wait here." She disappeared into an office, came back 2 minutes later. "Senator Warren will see you now." Elena walked into the office. Senator Elizabeth Warren sat behind a desk covered in papers and coffee cups. She stood when Elena entered. "Major Rodriguez, or should I call you Black Widow?" Elena's surprise must have shown. "I do my homework," Warren said, "and I've been investigating military corruption long enough to recognize a genuine whistleblower when I see one. What do you have for me?" Elena handed her the folder. "Everything you need to prosecute Admiral Sarah Chen for treason, corruption, and conspiracy. Bank records, communications with Russian intelligence, authorization codes for illegal operations. It's all there." Warren flipped through the pages. Her expression darkened with every line. "This is if this is authentic. This is the biggest military scandal since it's authentic. And it's just the beginning." Chen was part of a network run by Admiral Marcus Stone. "We arrested Stone 3 weeks ago, but the network is still operating. There are others, senators, defense contractors, CIA officers, all of them working together. Can you prove that? Not yet. But give me time, and I will." Warren closed the folder. "Major, do you understand what you're doing? Coming to me with this? Your career is over. You'll be investigated. Prosecuted, maybe. They'll destroy you. They already destroyed me. I'm just making sure they go down too." Warren smiled, grim, determined. "Then let's get to work." 3 days later, the story broke. Every major newspaper, every news network, all running the same headline. Navy Admiral charged with treason. Russian spy network exposed. Chen was arrested at her home. Perp walked in front of cameras. Stone was transferred to Supermax. Torres survived. Turns out Chen's people had grabbed him, but didn't kill him, just held him. When the news broke, they released him rather than add kidnapping to their charges. And Elena sat in a safe house in Virginia, waiting for the trials to begin, waiting to testify, waiting to finish what she'd started. Her career was over. Her life would never be normal, but Mitchell had justice. The soldiers had truth, and her father would have been proud. A week later, Dmitri called the number Elena had memorized but never used. "Impressive work, Black Widow. You destroyed Chen, exposed the network, made Russia look foolish. We underestimated you. Everyone does. So what now? You've burned every bridge. You have no career, no future, but you're still one of the best operators in the world. The offer stands. Work with us." Elena looked out the window, saw American flags flying over federal buildings, saw people walking free because someone had been willing to fight for them. "I'm not working for Russia, Dmitri. I'm not working for anyone except the people who actually believe in what this country is supposed to be." "And what is it supposed to be?" "Better than it is, but we're trying. That's more than you can say." She hung up, turned off the phone, sat in the silence, and let herself feel everything she'd been holding back. Fear, relief, grief, pride. She'd done it. Against all odds, against everyone who'd tried to stop her. She'd finished the mission. Black Widow. Patient. Careful. Deadly. And absolutely, completely, unequivocally victorious.